everybody, and welcome back to another video. Thanks for clicking on it, really do appreciate it. As you read by the title of this video, it's my experience of training for a mountain ultra in non-mountainous terrain, because I live in Southern Finland and it's flat. So I'll go through all the little ins and outs, my little tips and tricks, and got any comments or questions, leave them down below, and hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. That really helps. But let's get right into it.
You said goodbye like everything's gone, everything that we could have been.
So my first tip for training for a mountain ultra, not in the mountains, is sign up for one. As daft as it sounds, one of the biggest limitations on your capability to do something is your mind blocking you from doing it. So if you sign up for a mountain ultra, like I'm doing Ultra Pyrenees, then you've committed to it in a sense. And once you've committed to it, you find a way, you begin your creativity, and you achieve what you want by doing that mountain ultra. So my next tip is pretty much a very basic one in fundamental of running for improving, which is consistency and progression. With consistency, you get better at something, and progression, also you get better at something. So if you're consistently running, you'll improve your physical ability, your endurance, your tolerance. And with progression, what I mean is you always increase, start from little and go to a larger amount of either hill repetitions or length in tempo session, whatever it may be. It may sound like the most rudimentary and fundamental thing, and you're thinking, God, anyone knows that. But being consistent and dedicated to something is really can be challenging for quite a lot of people, and sticking at it and constantly progressing, it'll help you. Treadmill sessions, hyper important. With these ones, what you're doing is you can get uninterrupted elevation gain. Now where I live, the highest you can get where you have to return down is like 30 or 50 meters, and well, you know, your muscles get a break when you go from up and down. So having uninterrupted up sessions where you can elevate your heart rate for a longer period of time and work your muscles for that long period is super important. And that's been a critical part of my training, making sure that I'm doing treadmill sessions, uphill gradients 10 to 15% or more, and really working myself with that tool. I don't really enjoy the treadmill, but it's really helpful. And on a little side tip is, normally mountain races are going to be when it's a little bit warmer weather, because colder weather there might be snow in there. So being on a treadmill indoors takes that box off as well, because it's a warmer environment. So alongside that, in your training, what's really important is strengthening. So it's not the actual running, but having a regular strengthening program for your legs. Because what happens is, if you're doing the consistency and the progression, you build up your cardiovascular and endurance base. And mountain races, they require you to have a good endurance base, but also muscular strength and muscles that will sustain long periods of harsh activity. So it's all good having endurance, but you want to have strong muscles to sort of support that endurance base. So getting 2 to 3 key workout sessions kind of specifically kind of to the activity you're doing So maybe core, hips, glutes, your quads and your hamstrings is really important, and it will help you out a lot. And I can say it's helped me super loads. And that makes me move on to the next one, which is your environment. The environment that you're running in and you're doing your training in. Now, obviously, I don't mean this by being in the mountains. We all know that would be the most ideal scenario. But work with what you've got. So, mountainous terrain, mountain ultras that you'll be doing, predominantly are not going to be on like this flat gravel surface or asphalt. So, try and train on surfaces and environments that are kind of match the similarity. So running on trails, that's one of the things I've been doing quite a lot of, is doing a lot of my running on trails, because there's roots, there's rocks, you have to pick your feet up to avoid tripping over them, and that's the environment you'll be running in come the race day or the event that you've chosen. That leads me on to health, which is one of the biggest marginal gains out there. Why do I say marginal? Because it's probably just as equal to the running that you do. So what do I mean by that? I mean, are you sleeping well? Are you recovering after your runs? Doing foam rolling, stretching, getting sports massage, and all those things. Are you eating correctly? Are you backing off? Are you having rest days as well? Because all of these things, plus many more things, where you're looking after your body, is equally as important as the running that you're doing. People think that you just make gains from running, and that's entirely incorrect, because if your body can't recover for the runs that you are doing, then your body can't have that added kind of constant progress that it does, because you're not recovering well. So making sure you're eating well, sleeping well, looking after your body by foam rolling, massaging, and all those things is equally as important for your running.
Doubting you was enough to leave me chasing you on and on. But I don't care, I will let you in. You said
Hill repeats. I bet you would have thought I would have said that closer to the beginning of my discussion. But what I'm thinking, why I'm mentioning them here, is not about the performance of your muscles and endurance for it, but it's your mental strength on it. Find a smaller hill, or whatever hill you've got to work with, longer the better obviously. We're doing 10, 20, 40, 50, 100 hill repeats on it can be a huge benefit to you, because it makes you live in that very moment of that very hill repeat and fortifies your mental strength. So you're not just working on improving those muscles through other things that we've been saying as well, but mentally you get stronger because you're not counting all those repeats. Well, at first you might be. Final tip I've got for you today is walking. Now, you've been out for your run, you've done everything you wanted to do. What I suggest is do some walking as well, because time on your feet is really important, because when you're in the mountains, you won't be running the whole time, trust me. So just having that active recovery. So let's say you finished your run and you've been home, you ate something, go out and do a walk, 5 kilometers or something. It's good for active recovery, but it will really help you with your training as well. If you're living somewhere flat and you don't have the mountains, and even if you live in the mountains, you won't be running the whole time, so walking and doing some of that type of activity will be really beneficial as well.
hillside, a different view of my life. You left me running on.
Some bonus tips is using a Stairmaster in a gym, changing your cadence up, so higher cadence and lower cadence. I wouldn't suggest doing that in high speed though. And then third of all, making sure that you take in enough calories, eating and consuming enough calories.